The principle that we are judged according to our works is based on the fundamental premise that we are all free beings, endowed with free will to make decisions, act, and make choices. This means that regardless of external circumstances, each person has the power to shape their life and destiny through the actions they choose to take. Free will, therefore, is not only a tool for expressing our autonomy, but also a profound responsibility. The idea that we will be judged according to our works highlights the importance of each action taken along our path. From a simple act of kindness to complex decisions that shape the course of our lives, everything is observed, and everything has its consequences. The concept of judgment by works reinforces that, when making choices, we are constantly generating energy that will influence not only our personal lives, but also those of those around us. The responsibility is, therefore, double. Each action affects us directly, but also reverberates in the collective, creating an environment of interconnection where the choices of one person impact others. Therefore, when judged by our works, we are reminded that our choices are powerful, as they can bring peace and harmony or conflict and suffering, not just for ourselves, but for the world in which we live. Furthermore, free will offers a unique opportunity for spiritual growth. If every human being were just a puppet in the hands of fate or external forces, the development of the soul would be impossible. The fact that we can choose our actions gives us the chance to learn from our mistakes and evolve through our own experiences. The responsibility for our choices is closely linked to the process of self-discovery and maturation, where we are challenged to recognize our limitations and act in a wiser and more compassionate way. Thus, we will be judged by our works because, over time, all our actions will be reflected in our character, our evolution, and the impact we have on the world. Judgment here is not about punishment, but about evaluating what we have done with the gift of free will and how it shapes our spiritual journey. The law of karma, which is closely connected to the idea that each person will be judged according to their works, establishes a deep interconnection between actions and consequences. Karma is not limited to a simple exchange of good or bad actions for rewards and punishments, but is a universal mechanism of cause and effect that permeates all aspects of existence. Each action, word, or thought generates an impression that propagates throughout the universe, creating waves of energy that return to the person who originated them. If someone acts with kindness and altruism, this positive energy returns to the person in the form of benefits such as peace, prosperity, and harmony. On the other hand, actions based on selfishness, hatred, or destruction generate negative energies that manifest themselves as difficulties, suffering, and conflicts, challenging the person to learn from the experience of suffering. Judgment by works implies that everyone is constantly creating and attracting these energies, and is therefore responsible for the consequences of their own actions. This cycle of cause and effect is not punitive or random, but rather an opportunity for the soul to learn and evolve. Karma, therefore, is a form of universal school where each experience, whether positive or negative, carries an important spiritual lesson. Pain, for example, is not seen as a punishment, but as a way of teaching the importance of compassion and respect. Thus, the concept of judgment according to works emphasizes that, when we act, we are sowing the future, creating the field of experiences that we will experience. Even actions that seem small or insignificant have an impact on the fabric of karma. This leads to a reflection on how we should behave in all areas of life, always seeking to act in a constructive and ethical manner, so that the energy we create is positive. Karma is not just a tool of judgment, but a key to understanding the purpose and consequences of our actions in the great cycle of life. The concept of judgment according to works is also reflected in the process of atonement, which is the search for reparation for errors and failures committed in the past. Atonement is not just an attempt to right the harm done, but an opportunity for learning and growth. When a person makes a mistake, such as harming someone else or acting selfishly, the process of atonement involves understanding the impact of their actions and striving to restore lost balance. In many spiritual traditions, atonement is seen as a means of purifying the soul and correcting one's path, allowing one to move forward on the spiritual journey more harmoniously. This process of restoration is directly linked to the principle that a person's works determine their judgment, because, by repairing damage, the person demonstrates their intention to learn from mistakes and act more wisely in the future. The trials we face in life, whether personal, emotional, or spiritual, can be seen as a form of atonement. They offer a chance to test our ability to grow spiritually by overcoming obstacles imposed by our own past actions. For example, someone who has caused pain to another person may, in the future, face a situation where they have to experience similar suffering, as a way of understanding the pain they have caused. In this context, suffering is not a punishment, but an invitation to learning and transformation. By going through these tests, a person has the chance to develop essential virtues such as patience, empathy, forgiveness, and humility. These virtues are seen as keys to spiritual elevation, and the process of atonement helps us transform past failures into stepping stones to spiritual growth. Thus, judgment according to works can also be seen as an opportunity for purification and evolution, where negative experiences become sources of learning and transformation. In addition to individual karma, the concept of collective karma teaches us that the actions of a group, a family, or a nation have a collective impact on society. Collective karma refers to the idea that when a group of people act harmoniously or destructively, this collective energy affects the well-being and destiny of all members of the group. For example, a society that practices injustice or exploitation can reap the rewards of this negative energy in the form of conflicts, inequalities, and social suffering. Likewise, a community that acts with compassion, solidarity, and respect creates a positive energy field that promotes peace and prosperity for all. The principle that everyone will be judged according to their works also applies to entire groups, as the actions of one person or group reflect and shape the shared reality of all. Collective judgment, therefore, is a call for collective responsibility, where everyone must act ethically and fairly to create a more balanced and harmonious world. This concept of collective karma has profound implications for social behavior and political choices. By understanding that the actions of a group have repercussions for everyone, we are encouraged to act with more responsibility and awareness regarding the impact that our decisions have on others. The healing and spiritual growth of a society, as well as that of an individual, depends on recognizing past failures and the willingness to act to correct those mistakes. The spiritual transformation of a nation, for example, may require a period of reflection and collective atonement, where people recognize the harm caused by past actions and work together to promote justice, equality, and peace. Thus, the judgment of a nation's works reflects the collective energy of its actions, and social transformation becomes a process of healing, learning, and collective evolution. Ultimately, atonement is seen as a mechanism of spiritual transformation, where the soul is purified and approaches a state of greater harmony with the universe. The idea of being judged according to works is not a definitive condemnation, but a chance for human beings to correct themselves and redeem themselves. Atonement involves more than simply paying for a mistake. It is related to inner transformation, where the person starts to see their failures not as burdens, but as opportunities to grow spiritually. When someone atones for a mistake, they not only seek to correct what was done, but they also learn the essence of humility and forgiveness. These virtues, which arise from the atonement, are fundamental for spiritual elevation and connection with a greater universal truth. Atonement also involves the practice of restoring balance, not only on a personal level, but also on a collective level. When an individual recognizes their flaws and works to correct the impact of their actions, they contribute to collective well-being as their actions are reflected in the environment and relationships around them. Spiritual transformation, therefore, is not an isolated journey, but something that impacts the world around. Thus, the judgment of works and atonement become a continuous cycle of learning and growth, where each person has the chance to evolve, correct their flaws, and help create a more just, peaceful, and loving world. Judgment according to works, then, becomes a principle of regeneration, where each mistake is an opportunity for the soul to learn and elevate itself. If you like this video and want to continue receiving content about spiritual reflection, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also leave your like and share with your friends, so that we can bring this message of growth and transformation to more people. Together, we can learn to walk through life with more wisdom and harmony. Sign up now and be part of this journey.